You're watching Masters in Trading Live with Jonathan Rose.
Hey everybody, it's Jonathan Rose, and for 30 years or so, I've been a trader at some of the world's biggest exchanges. Now my mission is to help folks just like you. I get on here each day the market's open, 11 a.m. Eastern time, go over the market, share some thoughts once in a while. We'll share our trade of the day. Today happens to be that once in a while because I got a wing dinger of a trade to share with you. I'm going to share it in about 8 to 10 minutes because I got some things that I want to cover first. Before I do anything, I got the chat open. Hey, Janet, how are you? Probably, 50 so people in the chat. We've been talking for the last 10 minutes. People are here for the first time. Thank you. Welcome. Take it slow. I got the questions up. Feel free to ask any questions that you have. I'm going to go over to the screen because we got some fun things to talk about today. Again, I got the chat open. The first thing that I want to talk about, even before I get to that trade, is I want to talk about the overall market. We're going to talk about the overall market, and we're going to do that by looking at the QQQs, the NASDAQ, and I'm also going to pull up the VIXs. Now, the VIX is a volatility index. When the VIX is high, there's a lot of risk in the overall market. Okay, so I'm going to put the VIX on here, VIX. And right now, the VIX is trading way up here. That's the kind of risk there is in this overall market. When the VIX is high, the market goes lower. When the VIX trades lower, risk is coming out of the market and the market trades higher. VIX is a 30-day measure of volatility. Right now, it's at 39.20, right here. The market cannot trade higher when the VIX stays elevated. That's why when the market rallied today, it could only rally so much before failing. Where did the market fail? The high of the QQQs, and this is something that we talk about all the time in our Discord community, the high in the QQQs is 443.14. Yesterday's high is 443.14. It is the exact same high, guys. That becomes your line in the sand. That is gnarly resistance. Resistance, resistance, resistance. The only way the Qs are going to get through that 443 resistance is we want to see the VIX trade lower. But not just the VIX. You can look at the VIX 9D, which is just the first 9 days of that VIX. So let me erase these lines. Here's what the VIX 9D looks like, right? Very, very similar to what the overall VIX looks like, but the VIX 9D right now, as I talk, is sitting at 49. VIX 9D at 49 is bearish. It's bearish. So right now, the QQQs have rallied quite a bit off its lows. If you're long stock, it might be a good place to take profit. Or you got a nice relief rally, maybe lighten your load a little bit because the market is most likely going to sell off again as long as these VIX indices stay elevated. Before I move on to the next topic, does anybody have any questions about the long-term outlook? And I will say long-term, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Does that make sense? QQQs? Donna, I'll get into copper. Still love copper, by the way. Love copper. I just want an overall, take a step back, big picture about the market. The market's trying to rally, but But right now, there's a higher probability of us selling off than rallying. 443 is your resistance. Okay? Don, I'll make sure I get your copper too. Ooh, did we get a wing dinger? We talked about this earlier. ALHC. We want to stay active in this environment. So ALHC, here's a trade that I suggested on May 18th. This trade has $136 of risk. And this morning, we were taking off. It traded up to 420. So ALHC, another big winner in our community. Give you guys a little heads up. Here is the community right now. If I put in ALHC, 138% profit. James, just a little small profit here. Ed was able to get in for $1.40 and then get out for $4.20. So really, really just great trades. Don here grabs 100% in ALHC. So in an environment where people are having a bunch of trouble, ALHC is a silver lining for us. I saw some unusual options activity yesterday that I want to touch on. So when I was a market maker on the floor of the Chicago Board Options Exchange, when I got down there, I thought I understood options, but it took me a while to realize that everybody was just following the biggest orders in the room. Like literally, everybody on the floor would sit there and wait and wait and wait until eventually we see a $5.3 million order in ticker FUTU. FUTU Holdings. Now, I'm not that familiar with FUTU Holdings, but in this style of trading, I don't need to be familiar with FUTU Holdings. I do know that yesterday, somebody came in and bought $5.3 million worth of calls. Now, I have FUTU going back 5 years. Again, I've never heard of this company, but I've been doing this long enough. When somebody comes in and buys $5.7 million worth of calls, and they don't buy any puts, when they buy it and the market's pulling back, this is a big, big sign. Somebody is getting long FUTU, and they're doing it with some really, really big size. Now, what can we do as traders? Excellent question. Let me show you. Let me show you. Once I find my Thinkorswim. Here we go. FUTU. Okay, put this down. Now FUTU, yesterday trading 80.23. It's actually down a little bit from these trades. That's okay. It was still absolutely a bullish trade. But the interesting thing about this trade, guys, it was a bullish trade. 1 second. FUTU, 85 strike. You know what? No, it wasn't. JR, look at this, guys. And this is why you do the work. This is why you do the work. I just caught myself. Hang with me, guys. I have such a good trade for you. I am so excited. But the trade that I'm going to share with you is not in FUTU. But I do want to show you of why we're not going to share a trade in FUTU. And in order to do that, I got a little FUTU. Okay, here we go. We are live here, just so you know, obviously. Okay, so FUTU, let me just organize this in a way that I think you'll be able to see it. Okay, slideshow. We're going to go back for the current slide. Futu, 85s right here. 85s. Here's the open. So what happens is volume is for that day, and then it moves into the open interest. These Futu trades were actually covering trades. So this was not a bullish trade. These guys were getting out of their trade. So we don't want to do anything with Futu. 5.7 million call flow was actually covering. They were getting out of the trade. And how do I know that? I know that because on the very next day, I can see that the open interest is considerably lower. So Futu, we are not going to share a trade there. Yeah. Hey, William, thanks for joining, buddy. Hey, Michael. I love this quote from our Discord yesterday. Brian's on here. I teach folks how to buy options. When you buy options, you know exactly what you're risking. You make a choice. It's like our original trade that I shared up here. When we shared this trade, ALHC, it's $1.36. You're risking, it's 136 per one lot. If ALHC goes to zero, you can never lose more than you risk. That's the great way, a great approach to trading like this. So many people think when you trade options that you have tail risk, that you can sell options and you can lose so much more than you ever bet. Well, that's absolutely true if you trading options irresponsibly. But Brian, one thing's for sure, at least you're getting in and you know exactly what the risk is before you get into your trade. So I love this. This is awesome. All right, guys. Hey, George. Hey, it is a long time. How are you? All right, I'm going to get into that wing dinger of a trade. You guys ready for a good trade? I love this trade. Okay. Not to go through my whole career, my friends, but from 2002 to 2011, I traded bonds. I traded fixed income. My biggest earning year was in 2008. And in 2008, market was absolutely crazy. There was so much volatility. And I was fortunate enough to take $4 million out of the market. I had $4 million in take-home capital. I absolutely crushed. And the reason I crushed was because I was trading bonds. Has anybody learned how to trade bonds from me? Like, I haven't taught bonds since like 2023 because I was running more of a futures program. This trade can be a little bit complicated, so I don't want to overwhelm anybody. I'm going to really simplify the trade for you. But has anybody been around long enough to trade bonds with me? Yeah, we're going to talk about okay, John, you were trading bonds with me. Great. I know Eddie has traded bonds with me. It's a little bit more, George has traded bonds with me. A little bit more of an advanced trade, but I'm going to simplify this because the trade that I'm going to share with you is a TLT trade, Dale. That's correct. So I'm not going to make this a whole teaching thing. Maybe I will. Hang around for the trade. 10-year bonds. 20-year bonds. 30-year bonds. A, B, and C. Okay? U.S. government bonds for 10 years, for 20 years, or for 30 years. That's all we're doing right here. I'm taking it slow because I want to share this trade in a way that is not going to confuse you. I don't know how to do it without really confusing you. So, I wish I knew how to do this. Okay. It's too freaking complicated to do a whole lesson. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting a little bit frustrated. The whole idea about this trade, it's just a mean reversion trade. You see these are opening up and they come back together. Right now, they're opening up and coming back together. Okay? This next chart is just going to show you literally you can think about this as TLT. TLT is 20-year bonds. It's an ETF, and the duration is 20 years. This chart is actually called the ZB butterfly. The ZB butterfly is 20 years as it relates to 10 years. George, buy Bob, sell Knob is the futures trade. Here. That's what I'll do. That's George, that's what we'll do. I'm going to share the trade. For those who know how to trade futures, you can consider trading the futures. And for those who trade options, I'll give you the trade in options. The trade is we want to buy Bob and we want to sell the Knob. And so ZN, ZB, and I know this is not making sense for everybody. Again, these are for those following futures. That's the trade. And the trade is to sell ZN, to buy ZB, and to sell UB. So in layman's terms, 10-year duration, 20-year duration, 30-year duration. Right now, we want to buy 20 years and we want to sell the wings. But we can also replicate this exact same trade. And again, we talk about the creative trader wins. So watch what we can do. And again, take your time. I'm going to write the whole trade out. But I just want you to see that ZB is a 30-year US futures. Okay? And if I compare the TLT against the ZB, it's the exact same thing. So this is just showing. So overall, you're going to see that some folks, if they trade futures, can do this trade using futures. And others who don't, you can do this trade using options. And this chart is just going to show you the correlation between the TLT, which is the light blue, and the ZB, which is the white. The trade that I like right now is TLT is extremely, extremely cheap against its wings. Oh, it's already rallying, you mother. All right. TLT is a buy. It's starting to rally already. We're going to share an exact level so it doesn't rally too much before my folks get involved. Bonds are cheap. Now, 89.26, they've already rallied 75 cents from their low. Put yourselves in May. They're buying these two 91s for $1.75. 91s, I love it. Getting long TLT. Again, I traded the yield curve from 2010 to 2011. I speak this fluently, and the trade that I really like, I can replicate using futures. Replicate using options. It's the exact same trade. So TLT. Oh, I didn't realize I had this. So TLT, you can see it's rallying already. Consider that 91 strike. It's trading at $1.75 right now. But the cool thing is, if you buy one, it's $175 of risk. And you get that for 38 days. You can't lose more, no matter what happens. Okay? Trump could put tariffs on Martians, and you can't lose more in the TLT trade. Does that make sense, guys? I want to stop here. And does that make sense for everybody? I know it was kind of long-winded going through these different examples with the futures, but I do have some folks in here that understand that trade as well. Nice, Dale. In? Sweet. All right, fantastic. Oh, and I told you we'd look at copper. Let me know any other questions, guys, before I jump off. I noticed a bunch of people here for the first time. I love that. I appreciate you guys joining. And also, those joining for the first time, we just leave it in the chat. Let me know, do you guys have options experience? Did this make sense to you? I literally get on here each day just trying to add value. So hopefully it adds value. And if not, ask questions. Sometimes I get a little too advanced in my speaking. The last thing. Hey, Jim. NVIDIA. So my feelings about NVIDIA are going to be, really with the overall market. Going back to what we said when we first started. And what I'm going to do now is I just want to go over the copper trade. And two, guys, for those who want to be more involved, we have a Discord community where we're in there throughout the day. Everybody is going back and forth in our Discord community looking for opportunity. Day and swing. I wouldn't say day trading. Hey, Janet. Just opportunistic trading. I mean, William, I've been trading since 1997. It's the only thing that I've done in my career. So we like to say the creative trader wins. So we're just always looking for opportunity, looking at things differently than everybody else is. Throughout my career, I've always used a lot of relative value. This is just gold relative to silver. Copper's just a little slow to come up. Yeah, I like being long copper. I wouldn't be surprised if gold starts pulling back, though. I really just think gold is over its skis and a little ridiculous. And this is just being slow. For whatever reason. Hey, Jeff, no, the bond trade I like is that TLT. Okay. All right. Yeah, if you guys want futures classes, Dale, just let me know in the Discord. We just need people to speak up that they want futures classes because, I like trading futures, but it's something that people get scared, so they want to be open to learning. We're on here for a while. Everybody in All Access, you guys hang tight. Hey, for everybody else, guys, I'm going to move on. There's a number on the screen. Give it a call. We got some super cool promotions going on right now. Give a call. You can learn everything about the Masters of Trading programs. Okay? Thank you, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern Time.